where we should be as well, and then instead of playing somebody else there.
Oh my God. I've just realised that I didn't actually start the live broadcast.
You know what it is? I seen the thing in the corner that said scheduled, and I was like, oh, I'll not mention it. I noticed the time, wasn't it? So how were people commenting?
I don't know. Just Tom Lynch is just with us all the way. So I think what we'll do is, in true professional style, we'll just start again. Do you know what I mean? You've just got to own these mistakes. You've just got to own them. So I'm sure I'll get absolute pelters off everybody. But, you know, I've just got to own these mistakes. So we're going to act a bit like when Newcastle lose a game, like nothing's happened.
It didn't happen.
So we're going to go back to the titles. Roll VT. Hello, good evening and welcome. Welcome back. So, welcome, good evening to ExtraTyne on a Friday night. Now, Laura and I have just had a conversation for the best part of 10 minutes and we didn't go live. So here we are, live and direct, in your living room, in your hand, wherever you are. You might be sitting on the toilet, knocking a batch out. It's ExtraTyne on Friday night. We are the horrendous pair. Just Laura and I tonight, because we thought, you know, we'd make Friday night nice and intimate and nice and together. So we did start on time for those people who like to make sure that they were on time. We did actually start on time, but unfortunately, I didn't start the live broadcast. So there we go. So, but it's live TV. This is like, it's like when Judy's boob popped out. These things happen and you've just got to roll with it. So it's been another brilliant week in the world of NUFC, as I've been picked up on Twitter for saying, but you know, the irony's there for all to see. Obviously, after a terrible performance or a not so great performance at Villa, or a good performance in patches by Steve Bruce's views, but we've then followed that up with defeat in the Rumbelows, Coca-Cola, Capital One, Milk. Come on, give us some more names. What's this cup competition called these days? Carabao. A loss, but not a loss to Burnley. We didn't lose in a parallel universe. We didn't lose the game, yet we are not in the competition any longer. So, but yeah, so obviously Alan and Miggy missed the penalties, but I suppose on a brighter note, Woodman did save his penalty, and I suppose, do you put that down as a clean sheet, Laura?
Yeah,
we'll have it as a clean sheet.
Yeah, clean sheet in 90 minutes. If it was a bet, you would win it.
So there's a positive to cling on to, and by all accounts, from what I heard on the commentary, Manquillo seemed to have a decent game, but I think we all know that he's probably not going to play on Saturday. He's probably not even going to make the match squad, but that's just Brucey, isn't it? So there you go. So yeah, the weekend we've got Southampton coming up. So before we get into that, Laura, how are you? How's your week been? How's life?
Great, because like I did say 5 minutes ago, I didn't watch the game, didn't have anything to do with it, didn't see highlights, wasn't interested, knew what was going to happen, was inevitable, but I did obviously follow it. Like we said, Decker was giving my running commentary in the group chat as well. So
it's very, very concise.
Oh, it was very thorough.
He's better than the pink. Amazing.
Better than the pink. Yeah, way more detailed than Ryder, Newcastle, Twitter, all them.
Hold on, just say that again.
What was that? Say what? Lee Ryder.
Oh. Should I do it for you? Lee Ryder, Evening Chronicle. Ooh, good one. If you have a Lee Ryder reaction face, please upload it to Twitter, and we'll do a hashtag Ryder Reacts.
There's absolute
there's a real issue
deep
there, isn't there?
Deep hatred.
He's getting a ban. He's getting a ban. Craig Hope's going to have a little bit of company on the naughty step. Oh my goodness, dear me. So a good week, and I believe are you hanging a little bit? Are you feeling good?
Well, I'm powering through, but yes,
Nice.
I am slightly hanging after my.
And I imagine you were in all the top spots, Lavello, the diamond strip,
VIP.
VIP.
In actual fact, I was in the Clock and the Blackwater. Loving life. £3.80 for Stella, and 5 p.m. on a Thursday, karaoke and DJ. It was absolutely bouncing.
Amazing.
Brilliant.
Amazing. Was it Gyro Day or was it I don't know.
Honestly don't know, but possibly. It was fantastic.
Yeah, man. Although, to be fair, when I went to, obviously we went to Pop World and it was £5 and 5 pence for a pint of Strongbow dark fruits. I went into the Beehive. 3 of your English pounds.
Fantastic.
And a jukebox and space to stand and a bit of hardcore. So it was
you just can't beat the dives.
You cannot beat them. You cannot beat them, man. You cannot beat them. So yeah, we're kind of gone off track there already.
Massively.
Just prepare for that, but there we go. But I think this is just one of those things that we just don't prepare for at all. So, so like I said, we've got Southampton coming up. They did actually win a game against who did they beat again? Newport, who we sort of limped past last season. A Tonkin 8-0 victory with a fairly, obviously I think they changed the keeper. Fraser Foster was in goal, but I suppose he's a decent keeper. Ward Prowse, Bedranak. I've probably said that wrong. I'm sure Daryl will correct us. He's probably on Wikipedia now. But yeah, I think Walker Phillips. Is it Walker Phillips? The guy that
Walker Peters.
Walker Peters. That's it. So they had a fairly strong side out, and they've absolutely tonked Newport. So they'll be coming into the game. Those players who carry on that form and carry on into the game with a bit of confidence. So on the Newcastle side, like we said, the Burnley defeat was, it was poor, but it wasn't a defeat. So we're getting into that phase where, at the end of last season, where Bruce was talking about games that we had won and we hadn't won, and I forgot about the Crystal Palace game that we lost and all that sort of stuff. So let's see what turns up. So what do we think for the Southampton game? What are your thoughts? What do you think regarding team-wise, formation? How many players are going to be out of position this week, do you think?
Well, we've obviously got a few injuries, haven't we? Shelby, Hayden, Dummett won't be anywhere near the team, I don't think. I would say, and it might be, well, I don't think it is controversial because I've seen a lot of chat on Twitter about it. I think Miggy's having a mare, and I think maybe bring Fraser in. Give him
in centre, like a ball-winning centre midfield position, would you say?
Just on the wing.
No, but that's his position.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, well, but no in defence instead of Lascelles. Whack him there.
Yeah. I think that's really, really sensible, Steve. I mean, all right. Well, there we go. Yeah. So, do you think Manquillo might get a look in?
Probably not. Like you said, I think, in my opinion, why not? Sounds like he had a good game. So why not play him there instead of somebody else who obviously isn't as experienced in that position? So give him a chance. But Bruce doesn't work like that, does he? I feel like he just picks his favourites and just chooses who he would like. And I don't think that's going to happen. But I'm quite nervous for the game because obviously Southampton have come off in a big 8-0 victory, which again we would never do in a cup ever. We would never hammer teams, no matter how low they are or whatever league they're in. We always just scrape past. We never we never show that we're Premier League and they're not. But sorry, tangent. But and I think they're gonna be confident. And yes, it might not be the exact same team, but there was still players in there who will be featured on Saturday, probably like Ward Prowse and Walcott featured and the likes of them. But I also just think the inevitable is going to happen and Armstrong is going to score.
I think if you look at, I mean, we'll come on Armstrong in a minute, but I think in terms of what I've seen, so far, and what's been a long concern for me is about that midfield. And obviously, Shelby's out, Hayden's a doubt. Longstaff looks like he's fit. Obviously, we've got rid of Matty today. He's gone to Aberdeen. Good luck to him. He'll probably get more from Brown than he will from Bruce over the calendar the year. But I do worry that obviously Southampton have got Ward-Prowse, who's a good, strong midfielder. I think he scored a free kick at the end of last season when we had that weird game where we finished with 9 men. And then I never know his name, Romelu. So they've got a strong midfield, so it's going to be a real test, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
But what about Armstrong? Do you think it's the elephant in the room?
It is, and I think.
What do you reckon?
I drink with one of my dad's mates before the match, and he, very opinionated man, and he is adamant that Armstrong will not make it in the Premier League, won't score a goal in the Premier League, which obviously he has already on his debut. So, but no, I totally disagree with him, and I think Armstrong just needed a chance and needed a run of games, and I think if you provide him with the ball in the box, I think he will score. And I think he is going to score. And I think, truthfully, he'll get a good reception if he does score. And I think the ground will go toxic. And I am nervous for if we go behind. I think it'll be. We were talking before we came on air about the before we
before we
even thought we were on air. About, you mentioned a whole game where it was a bad atmosphere. I think Saturday will be the worst I have personally ever seen it, I think, if we go behind.
Yeah, I mean, that going back to that whole game, that was obviously the game after Keegan had been sort of hamstrung really by Gonzalez and what was his name? Spanish kid? Isco. He came in under sort of after a YouTube watch, and obviously it's hard to obviously anticipate and what it's going to be like when it does turn, and I think it is on the turn. Like, it's difficult to kind of remember back to that point. Like, I remember feeling like shit's going down here, like, because there was banners going around, there was Cockney Mafia and all that, and it was really and I think somebody got sent off. Did Danny Guthrie possibly get sent off in that game? It was a really bad tackle on Vaughan for Hull, and it just kind of reflected. I'm sure Daryl or somebody will get on this one. And there's Mal, he'll know. Oh, Morecambe 0-2-7. There you go.
When was that?
Oh, that was Joe. I think Joe Linton got a couple against Morecambe, found his level.
So
your father's absolutely done you there.
Absolutely. Sorry, Dad.
Absolutely done you. So, well, he's had a lot of thinking time today after his walk to heaven, hasn't he? So, you know what I mean? He's been running through. He was half listening to what you were saying about kettlebells and step classes and whatever, and he's thinking.
Honestly, we walked for about an hour and a half, and I don't think I said one word. It was just constant Malcolm telling us stories about football.
Yeah. Well, Tom Lynch agrees with me. It
I wasn't there, so I don't know.
The whole game was a pretty bad one, but obviously under Pardew there was some pretty toxic times, unfortunately.
Oh, Michael's picked a bad one to come back, hasn't he?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Good luck, mate.
Yes. I was just saying to you, Roger, and McLaren and Pardew were like I remember a couple of games where it was like I was like afraid of how bad and hostile it became, and I do feel like it's gonna go that way, because I think you said, I think in your dissertation in the group chat about 10,000 words.
I was like
about we can't turn on the players because it'll have a detrimental effect, and then we'll get the blame, of course, always. But it's going to get to the point where I think we probably don't even care, and people are just going to want their feelings for Bruce known.
Yeah. I think it's on the. I mean, obviously, I spoke to a couple of people because I think there was reports. Obviously, they were singing "Brucey, give us a wave" and
Do you think that was true?
Well, I spoke to my friend Gallen today, and he was saying, yeah, he heard them singing. He was sitting in the East Stand.
Do you think it was like tongue in cheek, like taking the mick, bored, maybe, hopefully?
Yeah, I don't know. You probably ask the people who were there. I think, like, I think I said, a couple of podcasts ago that, there are fans out there who don't exist on Twitter and on Facebook and who are just.
And I get that to a certain degree. But you must be living under a rock if you don't know that the fans don't like Bruce. I don't know anyone who actually thinks Bruce is the right man for the job. So yes, you don't have to boo him, and yes, you don't have to make your feelings known if that's not what you do. I won't boo him. I won't be shouting at him. I'm a quiet fan. However, I wouldn't be standing up saying, "Give us a wave." Or like singing in any sort of support for him to make him think that we like him and we want him there.
Yeah, I think probably Tom's onto something there where he says it's about, there's probably a few kids there, like few kids there. Maybe they've had a few cans of Sprite or whatever, and they've maybe hey, because I wave about Brucey. Hey.
Well, then their dads need to have a word with them and tell them that.
I was youngin'. Oh.
We don't shout that.
Maybe Lee Ryder give us a wave. That might provoke a different reaction. We get like the big, oh, you did, we get like, oh, you did, like a Ricky Lake reaction. You never know. Ask your dad about Ricky Lake anyway.
I know Ricky Lake.
Yeah, man. Everybody knows Ricky Lake. So yeah, I think two normies right there. Maybe the cabbages might get through.
Yes, I was going to say that.
Yeah, I think
I'm taking a bag with shoes in tomorrow. I'm scared in case the searches. Because people will start taking cabbages in, aren't they?
You're taking a bag with shoes? Are you not putting the shoes
I'm going straight out after, so I'm gonna have my heels in my bag.
Are you going out?
Yeah, I'm not going to Garter though, not tomorrow. Well, that's not on the list.
Yeah.
Might end up there, but.
And if you'd like to know the list of where Match of the Day 2's Laura's going to be, send a message to her Twitter. She'll give you the list of where she's going to be.
Can you believe no one in the Garter watches the podcast? I was absolutely shocked.
Stunned and offended. We like at the bar, like.
Oh, no. Actually, I should clarify that I wasn't walking around saying I'm on a podcast.
Gotta get shots t-shirt on.
No, they were talking about football, and my friend was like, "Oh, Laura likes football. She does a podcast."
Laura knows football. Tell them that offside thing you were talking about us before. It was Bella.
Then I actually think a football chant erupted in the clock as well. Actually,
it is.
Yeah, can't remember which one, but it was definitely.
I love the clock. It's such a great bar. I was in there many moons ago. I think during the Bobby Robson era, and a section of the ceiling fell into this bloke's pint. It was like 3/4 full, and you just scooped it out, looked at it. Don't even a plaster board, you're going to get a junior. You know
that new lager, Madri, that people have been drinking. Well, I had it in Hoochie Coochie last week, and I really liked it. So I seen a red label, and I was like, "Oh, I'll have a pint of Madri, please." And I'm like, "Excuse me." I was like, "I'll have a pint of Madri." And it was Woodpecker, and I'd misjudged it, and they were just like, "Oh, sorry, Pet, we've only got Foster's or Stella." I was like, "Oh, right, okay."
So if you're listening there, so she goes to the Black Garter.
I'm not going there.
I bet are you going to Cuba Libre or whatever it's called?
What's that?
I don't know, the Cuba one in the middle of the big market.
Oh, Revolution to Cuba.
I don't know, Cuba Libre. I don't know.
No.
Yeah, have you seen the secret bar?
What, the toilets downstairs?
Oh no, called the Toon Saloon.
Where's that?
It is above the Beehive. So we were in Hibu Blanc. Sorry, people. Sorry, the 26 people watching. We were just going on. So I was with Paddy, and we're in Hibu Blanc. It was for his birthday. Happy birthday, Paddy.
Happy birthday, Paddy.
And across, obviously, literally, and like you're looking down on the Beehive. Like, so all the people in the Hibu Blanc, and then like the people
living it up,
like absolutely living their best lives, and then you're like,
monkey.
Do you have any Grey Poupon?
Espresso martinis.
So above there
Mm-hmm.
is a. If you look, it's the windows are frosted and it's called the Toon Saloon. So, and we were like, "What is that bar?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you get into that bar?" So, if anybody knows the Toon Saloon, where
I'm
is
gonna
it?
have to try
How
it.
do you get in? Does it have a Twitter? Does it have a Google? Does it have a whatever?
Does it have karaoke at 5 p.m. on a Thursday?
Probably not.
Oh,
Probably
don't want to
not.
know then.
I
Don't
used,
want to
I, used,
know.
I used to run. I used to run the karaoke at the Bencham Arms back in the day. That was a depressing job. Really depressing. We used to have a bloke called Tony the Tiger who used to come up and do
Wow.
wild thing, rah, like at 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon.
There's some genuinely decent singers in the clock though. I thought the Carpenters record was playing until my friend was like, no, she's singing the Carpenters. It was
Which one was
very
it?
good.
Hopefully it's the only one I know, which is, was it I'm on top of the world?
No, it wasn't that upbeat. It was like a very ballady.
Was it?
Slow one. I can't remember what it was.
Anyway, so back to the
But
football.
anyways, football.
Yeah, so anyway, so yeah, so the weekend, obviously, Newcastle, difference, well, Newcastle, the squad-wise, obviously no Martin Dubravka still. We'll come on to that in a second. Darlow, I think Steve Bruce in his brilliant press conference, which was really revealing as usual. Darlow's had some results back, so that it looks like he's getting a bit closer, but I think we're probably still looking a month away from him being playing. Obviously, Shelby's out. Isaac Hayden's a doubt. I think they're being a bit careful with him about his. Obviously, he had that knee injury at the end of last season. Sorry for burping on air there. And Dummett what did he say? He's been on the grass. He's been on the grass. Or he said something. He said another Brucey cliche. He's back amongst it, or he's in and around.
In and around, yeah.
He's in and around.
Loves that one, doesn't he?
Yeah. So there we go. Yeah. So he's in and around. Oh, Julie Baker. Thank you, Julie. She's just gone to the Toon Saloon. It's a hen/stag party apartment with a built-in bar.
bar. Wow.
It's Gallowgateshots night out there, isn't there? In the Toon
Definitely.
Saloon. Yeah.
And then we can just roll down the stairs to the Beehive.
The Beehive and pay £3 for a pint. Amazing. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Julie.
You are an absolute legend. Thank you. So yeah, just going back, just obviously to Darlow, I think. I mean, Bruce has been using this excuse about, I don't know what to do about me keepers, and I've got 4 keepers. Do I register for the squad? And that's stopping us from signing any players, which is absolute bollocks in my opinion. What is that all about, Laura? What do you think? Like, why is he making this delay? Why?
Obviously, I don't know, but I also kind of think he hasn't got a backbone to just make a decision. I think he's too scared to leave his number 1 goalie out, even though he's not going to play for it, not going to come back for a while. Then when he comes back, he's not going to be match fit. It's just not looking very realistic anytime soon that he's coming back. So I think he's too scared to just drop someone big name.
Do you think that it would be? I mean, obviously, all we ever do is speculate because we never know what goes on. But like, for me, surely you would be like, you would speak to Dubravka and say, "Look, you're injured.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like you're not going to be back for a while. You are my number 1 goalkeeper. That is without question. But I'm going to make this decision. But obviously, we'll look to January. I want to give you the time to recover, get back.
Especially because Bruce is so good at man management, apparently, and one-on-one with the players, he's great. So go and talk to him.
Yeah. I just think that's all a load of bollocks, to be perfectly honest with you. But there we go. I think so. Obviously, it gives us some selection headaches. Although Bruce says we have a plentiful squad. What would you go in terms of formation? Would you go with? I think. Hopefully, if Hayden's fit, then do we just go with Hayden and Longstaff and just play actual centre midfielders in centre midfield?
Yeah, I would be happy with Hayden and Longstaff. I can't remember if I've said this on air or not, but I would.
I know. I was just thinking that, but let's just go with it. Just roll it. We'll see what happens.
I would drop Miggy. I think Miggy's having a bit of a mare. And
Yeah.
I'm sure I said this and then you realised that we weren't on air.
Yes.
Yeah, so I would drop Miggy. I think he's having a bit of a mare. I feel sorry for him because me and my dad were talking about this today. I think Miggy is a type of player that can't be just given a free role. That kind of like Bruce has given him, where obviously we know Bruce isn't a tactical genius, but I don't think they're giving him enough instruction. Whereas I think when Rafa got the best out of him, it was because it was so precise and he knew exactly what he had to be doing. Whereas now he just seems to run around a bit like a headless chicken with no purpose or no plan.
Yeah.
And so I would maybe put Fraser in, but I would definitely go with Hayden, Longstaff, Willock.
Yeah.
Definitely. Not Hayden, sorry. Willock, Longstaff.
Yeah.
Yeah, not Hayden. I don't think Hayden will play. I think Bruce talks shit when it comes to injuries, and I think the people in and around it are nowhere near.
Yeah. I mean, I would go. I mean, I do like 3-5-2, but 3-5-2 with players who play in those positions. I think, I would say Shaw's got to start because he brings the ball out from
forward,
from defensive positions. Fernandez is a steady man, and then Lascelles. I'm gonna start calling him Lascelles now. Like, that's it.
What's his name?
Lascelles.
Is it? Well, why don't you say the C? I'm pronouncing it phonetically.
Okay, so then
I was thinking, what do I do?
So then I would have Manquillo on the right. I really like Manquillo. I don't know, it blows my fucking mind why he doesn't play him. But maybe he doesn't like the Spanish accent. I don't know. So I would play Manquillo because he's never really, apart from when usually he gets a little, when he first gets in, he's a bit thingy, and then he grows it. These players need to run at games.
Of course, yeah.
And then I would play Lewis on the left-hand side, and then I would go Willock, Hayden, Longstaff, 3 players who are.
What if Hayden's not in?
Then I think we've got a little bit of a problem because then we have to start playing players out of position, or we have to play Jeff Hendrick or Hef Gendrick, as I'm going to call him for the rest of the season. So, I mean, apparently Hef had a good game. So, should
have scored though. Apparently,
I would honestly rather play Hef Gendrick in centre midfield than a player who is a better player, because I would just play him in position. Like all he's going to do is him and because Manquillo's going to go, Lewis is going to go, so you're going to need. And I know it's playing 2 defensively minded midfielders at home, but that's the place we're at. And I would just play those 2, and then that allows Willock to just do what he wants, and then I would play. I'll play Alan St. Maximin behind Wilson, and I would ban Alan St. Maximin from coming back into our half.
Right.
Because
he brings nothing to it.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, the kid doesn't last more than 60, 70 minutes because he's coming back and collecting the ball off fucking Fede Fernandez because he can't get, because we play so deep. But if you play Shaw, he's going to bring the ball out and hopefully bring us forward a bit. But
isn't it funny? Why doesn't Bruce just think like this? Isn't it strange?
And if only I'd been a professional footballer,
done
my coaching courses, learned all about that, worked my way up the ranks, being an assistant to somebody, and then.
Well, apparently on the Gary Neville and Roy Keane episode today, Gary Neville said Instagram would get Roy Keane a management job, so just wax him. Yeah, he said he's got loads of followers, and Keane went, "Will it get us a job?" And he went, "Yeah, I think it could get you a job." And he went, "Oh, so it doesn't matter about me pro licenses or anything like that. Just stay on Instagram."
There's always a loop. There's always a loophole. Always. Like Glenn Rudder, God rest his soul. He managed us, and they're like, are you, Glenn? Are you working on? Yeah, I'm working on them.
Definitely.
So,
in progress.
Yeah, it's a one in progress. So, What about you? Would you kind of go with that?
Mm-hmm.
What would you
Yeah.
go team wise? Would you maybe consider putting Dwight Gale in, or would you put
No.
no?
No, not even an option. I would have. I'm sorry if I'm totally wrong. Did Gale play on Wednesday?
He started the game. Yeah, he started the game.
Yeah, see, that's the game that Gale should be playing. I don't think he's.
Yeah.
I think Wilson is obviously better, and I know you didn't mean play him instead of Wilson, but I just think Wilson and Maxi.
Yeah, I think, and I do think, going back to Almiron just really briefly, I do think that Almiron is. I think he's exhausted. I think he's fucked. Like,
I'm not surprised because all he does is run around.
He plays pretty much, well, not every game last season, but the back end of the season he played, and then he's obviously played for Paraguay in the Copa America. A lot of traveling, pre-season. I mean, don't even get started on pre-season, but not in terms of results, but like, what do those guys do in pre-season? Like, what are they being told to do? Like, the Steves are like the fitness regime. I mean, will look knackered already, but maybe that's a confidence thing. Maybe that, you just don't know, I suppose. But yeah, so I think going into this weekend, I think, like I said at the very start of the season, I think this is we needed to hit the ground running. We haven't. We've hit the ground with our face. And now we're kind of trying to peel our chin off the ground and try and get some sort of result. I think it's just by hook or by crook. I think we need to win.
It's a winnable game. It's a game that after a defeat at Villa, half defeat on Pens in the cup, I think it's a game that you wouldn't be like, oh, I don't really want to play Southampton. It's a game we can win if we play good. Like,
just say, ooh, I don't want to play Southampton. Oh, I don't want to play Southampton.
But no, but you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want to play Brentford or any of the newly promoted teams. Wouldn't want to play, obviously, any of the big teams.
Oh, the big teams. The big
we're
a big team. Steve did try after his Newcastle, I can't remember, I think it was Michael or someone picked him up on his Newcastle interview saying, why do you play us down? You went,
negative.
You went, well, we're playing these big teams. Oh, I mean, we're a big team. Like, you went all Tim Nice but dim. I don't know.
No, not having it.
Did you see any of his interview in his pre-match, or did you just avoid those and rather?
No, the only thing I've seen by accident today is what I said to you before we came on about. We were talking about how everything now is winding us up about Bruce, and we're nitpicking, like that photo that did the rounds on Twitter about him not being in the huddle for the penalty, the walking away when everyone was on the halfway line. I did kind of play devil's advocate, and I said a lot of managers don't like to watch the penalties for suspicious reasons. So I think, but we're at that point as a fan base where everything we're picking up on, and it was just happened to be on the TV, and it's all we've heard about, and we'll obviously move on to that in a minute because it's the topic tonight. But about Ronaldo, and you look at all the other managers, and they've been interviewed about what's the question, what do you think about Ronaldo? And Tuchel was like, not having it, not interested. He's gone to our rivals. It's not good for us. Now, I'm not comparing us to Chelsea. I know we're not there. However, it cut to Bruce, and Bruce was like, oh, wow, it's amazing, isn't it? He was like, you've just got to look and dream and think, what if? And it was so frustrating. It's such a defeatist attitude to have. And I know he's probably right. And obviously, yes, it is. And yes, we're not going to get Ronaldo, wouldn't even dream of it. However, just saying it on camera, it just winds us up.
Yeah. I think he's just one of those people now his stock is that low with the majority of the fan base that I speak of, that he's just anything he says, like you say, is just like,
yeah, we're just picking up on everything.
Steve, you bastard. Well, I suppose kind of going off to kind of one of the things that he did say during his press conference, he was asked about obviously Adam Armstrong, which we kind of alluded to, and the inevitable goal that he may or may not score. I mean, obviously he scored against Everton, by all accounts had a decent game, missed a really good chance against Man United the game after, where really I think it was a similar chance to the one he scored against Everton, but he kind of fluffed his lines a little bit. Keeper saved it. Didn't really, it wasn't an outstanding save. It was it was a fairly routine save for, I think it was De Gea who was in goal. But in his interview, he was obviously asked about Adam Armstrong coming back to Newcastle. And obviously the inevitable comparison or the mention of Mr. Benitez came up.
Yes, my dad told us about this today. He had a proper dig, didn't he?
Yeah, it was a bit, again, coming back to what you're just saying about everything that he says, we're going to latch onto.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the interviewer, the journalist had said, how do you, I'm paraphrasing here because I can't quite remember, I'll fill in the blanks, but it's basically mentioned Joe Linton and said, is it bad that, Newcastle have gone out and spent 40 million on Joe Linton, yet here's a lad who's playing in the Premier League for Southampton, who we had 3 seasons ago, blah, blah, blah. And if you haven't seen it, because I know a lot of people don't bother watching his press conferences anymore, but he basically said, well, the previous manager, he didn't say the mighty Rafa. He didn't say the mighty Rafa.
He's making improvements.
The previous manager didn't think that he was going to be the centre forward for Newcastle United, so they've let him go. And then he mentioned Ivan Toney as well. He said, and you look at Ivan Toney, I'm not sure, and I'm sure maybe Julie or Tom might help us out with this one about who it was that had sold Ivan Toney. I think we've had this debate about Ivan Toney before, but whether it was McLaren or whether it was Bruce, I'm not entirely sure. Whether it was Benitez, I'm not really sure.
I think it was. I think this was a question on Twitter not long ago, and I think I Googled it because I wasn't sure. And I think it was Rafa.
Yeah. But then actually somebody had put, well, Bruce wanted to get rid of Grealish and sign Jordan Rhodes. So I think those types of things are in football all of the time. Because
it's about timing as well. And Rafa just didn't think it was Adam Armstrong or Ivan Toney's time. And I'm not being funny. I trust Rafa more than I trust Steve Bruce's judgment.
Yeah. So, like I said, Tom Benitez sold Toney. McLaren, it was McLaren who brought him in. Yeah. So there's a little bit of a dig there. He likes to get a little bit of a dig in every now and again, as part of his thingy. But
there was a thing on Sky the other day. Just let's do some more Bruce bashing. While we're on the topic, and it was every win percentage or something. My dad was telling us about it, and Bruce was bottom 20-something% win percentage, and every other manager was the likes of Allardyce, Pulis, Hughes. Yeah. They were all the bottom. Bruce is the only one in a job. He's the only manager with that. Yeah, still working. I think we were saying today that I think Bruce just knows it's his last job. He's never going to get another job in especially Premier League anyway. And he just knows
it's mint being a Newcastle fan and tune blowing on it.
Yeah, no, very depressing.
Oh man. But there you go. Them's the breaks. You can't help where you're born and what your parents do to you, can you? You know what I mean?
Well, isn't your dad a Sunderland fan though? So he didn't do it to you.
He is a Sunderland fan.
You chose this yourself.
I know. Why? Well,
it could have been worse.
It could have been worse. Do you know what I mean? It could have been worse. Oh God, aye. And he's like, oh well, we've got this lad from Leeds under 23s, and I'm like thinking, God, I wouldn't mind signing someone from Leeds under 23s at the minute. Like, who is he like? Is he good? Like? Is he good? Like? But there you go. That is the way we are. That's where we are at the minute. So, as you touched on there, a massive signing today, or a massive announcement today. A man who's lit up World Cups, European Championships, obviously played Premier League football previous. A real cultural icon. A lot of players, there's not many players that transcends football, transcends sport. But today it was announced that Moussa Sissoko had signed for Watford for, I believe, 3 million.
I didn't see that coming.
So what do you make of Sissoko's move to Watford, Laura?
I think it's great. He wanted Champions League football, and that Watford are in the Champions League, aren't they? Yeah. So yeah,
Probably.
I'm happy for him. Yeah. No,
And now
I wouldn't want him back. So
it's a bit of a retirement. Well, it's a bit of a not a retirement, but a semi-retirement home, I think, because Jan Matt was there. They're after Hayden. They're looking at Hayden, or maybe Sissoko was the top one, and the Hayden was after that. I think by Dan Gosling it's Watford now.
I think obviously Watford aren't a great club or anything like that, but it's just London, isn't it? They just want to be in London, so I think that's their appeal, and that's how they get them sort of players.
Yeah. I wonder how many people are reeled in with me, little Sissoko.
Me,
I was working on that before. I was like thinking, right, how can I get Sissoko into this? Like, but yes, obviously, Ronaldo, the announcement's been made today. I was actually looking up what number he could take, because obviously 7. Well, Cavani's.
Well, there's talk of him giving him it, isn't there?
Well, they're not sure whether Cavani's going to stay. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so
Joe Linton gave Wilson the number 9 eventually. So
that is true. So yeah. So obviously Ronaldo's gone back. Just really quickly, I know we're not a Man United podcast, but it's a big announcement. It's a big move. So. What are your thoughts on Ronaldo coming back? Do you think it's a good signing for Man United? And then obviously we'll talk about who he plays his debut against, probably. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I'm personally, on a personal level, I'm excited to see him live, because I didn't have a season ticket when he was first at Man U, so I'm excited to actually see him play and absolutely hammer. I think I don't know if don't take this the wrong way, because obviously Ronaldo would improve any team. He's the greatest player in the world. Him and Messi up there, brilliant, amazing. I'm not, but I also kind of think that they've just signed him for the name Ronaldo. I feel like it wasn't like a plan. Like, you know how teams, like, or most teams, are like, look for a player that they can incorporate into their team and their football. And I think they've just literally thought, oh, he's free, he wants to leave, let's have him, rather than it. But obviously it will. I hope it works. It'll be good to see him and see how he copes with Premier League now, and because of it, it's a lot different from when he was first here. So
yeah,
it'll
definitely
be interesting to see what happens. And yes, obviously he plays against us.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of those transfers that were like, oh shit, he's available. Yeah, I mean, I think he would. I think obviously he comes as a package. Aye, ladies. Like, he comes as, like, obviously you're getting Ronaldo, so there's the commercial side of that. There's the brand inside of that. But also, I think in terms of which probably what we could do with it, Newcastle, is like culture. You know, like he's a consummate professional.
Yeah, hardworking.
Raises, standards. He raises standards. Totally. He expects the best of himself.
Yeah, demands more from his players around him. He's very nitpicky if something doesn't go his way, and
we've missed that for a long time. I think maybe sort of Colaccini was maybe he's a quiet example of that. He may more led by example. But really, we haven't had that type of, I think we said it last week, about accountability since probably Shearer, like bollocking people, putting people in their places. And I think Ronaldo will bring that. And all those, the thing as well, you've got like Rashford, Green, what's his green word? What's green? What's the striker called?
I know who you mean. Is it not Greenwood? Yeah.
Jesus, man. We need Bestie on this, like, because he'd have his panini out straight away, and he'd be like, "Yeah, it's Mason Greenwood, you dipstick." But you've got those, Sancho who
like idolize him, look
their idol,
him. Bring out the best in them.
And then the older players will all respect him, and so I think it's a for 25 million, if that's what it is.
Who's their captain at the minute? Is it Rashford?
It's Maguire, possibly.
Of course, yeah. Do you think you'll get the captaincy?
Yeah, Maguire's captain for the next 4 minutes, and then he's like, "There you go." No, I think Maguire will stay as captain. I think they'll. But I think that's just going to really, I'm not sure whether it's enough for them to win the title, but I think it'll definitely push them. I think in those key moments, in those big games, if he's on the pitch or you look to the bench, if they're they're struggling, in a last 16 game.
Is he going to be starting 11 every game, do you think? Or is this where he's finishing his careers?
I reckon so.
Yeah.
I reckon so. And then he might move to Madeira FC or whoever. I think he's from Madeira, isn't he? So maybe he's Madeira FC or...
No, he'll go to Beckham's, wherever Beckham is.
Into Miami.
Mm-hmm. He looks Miami.
Imagine Phil Neville managing Ronaldo.
Is that the manager?
Like, so Ronnie. Shut up, Phil.
He knows him now, so it'll be fine.
Shut your pie hole, will you? Yeah, imagine in a world where Phil Neville is managing and advising Ronaldo. But yeah, I think it's a smart move commercially and
commercially more so.
Yeah, I think and players like Pogba, he'll
not take any of his shifts.
Yeah, I think I just think it's a good move for them. But there we go. Mm-hmm. So that's the end of the Man United podcast. No. So yeah. So on that theme, we finally got to the theme. So we had a bit of a Twitter. We had some really good responses on Twitter. So thank you to everybody who sent a message on the hashtag to the Gallowgateshots. Laura's got an absolute multitude of answers, so she's not.
Thank you so much. We've had over 70, so it's brilliant. A lot. Thank you to everyone who's sent in. I'm not going to go through all the names. I will be here forever, and we've already blabbed on for 45 plus minutes. Well, so
probably 60 minutes.
60,
really.
Yeah.
45 minutes you lot have seen.
So a lot of them were very similar. So a lot were going for Ben Arthur. A lot were going for Rondon. Cisse, Cisco, who I had to ask Roger who he was, because Matty just put a photo and I had no idea who it was.
The last I heard, he was playing for Cordoba.
I don't know.
Which is where you end up if you get in one of the snidey taxis outside my mission, and you're in Ibiza and you're some guy picks you up in a BMW that's still got a tape deck in it, and you're I'm staying at the Paradiso Hotel, mate. And you end up in Cordoba with Cisco. That's where you end up. I think Cordoba's mainland Spain, but you get the idea. Anyway, go on, carry on.
Thank you. Andy Carroll from Dobby Solano. I think that was slightly tongue-in-cheek.
Oh, Dobby.
I know. Jeannie, have I said that one? Jeannie Wijnaldum. That was mine. I thought of him first.
He would definitely improve our midfield.
1,000,000%. He's probably the one still playing, doing the best, would you say, at the minute? Who'd done the best, who's still playing. I personally would say Armstrong, because again, I think we're absolutely screwed if Wilson gets injured. So I think even just depth for the squad. So Armstrong and Tony, why not? There was
Fraser Foster, get another keeper in. Five keepers. Yeah.
Well, there was no rules to this question, was there, Roger? It was your question, so we can do what we want. And then Wayne Roberts said one that I had completely forgot about. James Milner. James Milner, totally forgot he played for us, and he's obviously doing brilliant at Liverpool. So, yeah,
he's done all right, hasn't he?
Yeah, just the Premier League and that,
Champions League,
yeah, Champions League as well. Perez, but some people have said Perez, but we hated him when not we, because I didn't, but the fans weren't very nice to him at all. He wouldn't want to come back. Marino, lots of players are saying Marino. People are saying Marino. Sorry.
Don't even start on Mikel Merino. Oh my god, that ship. Oh man, why did you? I hadn't even thought about him. Why did you even bring him up? You've totally.
Because I'm just reading out people's responses. I don't want to ignore any, and a lot of people have said him. JCB's gone very negative and said, we've been shit for that long. We don't have anyone actually worth bringing back. Sorry.
It's difficult.
I think it is also, but I would take anyone at the minute. So
yeah, I'd take Duncan Ferguson, to be fair.
Aaron Hughes. He's not still playing, surely.
I think he just retired at the end of last season. I think he was at
did he?
I think he was at Hearts, and then he went. I think he might have played in the Irish League, possibly.
Obafemi Martins came up a lot, and I had to Google whether or not he was still playing, and he is in Shanghai. So,
Oh, is he?
Luke de Jong at Torvin, Cisse and Dembaba. Matty Longstaff, Rondon.
Yeah, Matty Longstaff, I'd take him back.
Jack Colback, I think Glenn might be joking there. Bruce would ruin every single one of them, Dominic says, which can't argue with, totally agree.
Yeah.
James Perch. Lots of people say Meat Row, but I really don't want to say that because I was never a fan.
Yeah, I think, although I think he would improve our striking options, like he'd be, with the right coach, like who's going to frighten him in equal measure, frighten him and develop him. Like there is a player there, and him and he's a bit like he's like a undereducated, he's like a non-streetwise Rondon, like similar frame,
like
similar type of game. And if he had the same,
what's that word I'm thinking of, like strong, like feisty kind of.
But I mean, the Rondon one, I think Tom was agreeing there. Jules said Peter Biedzy, but
totally. But I thought we're just making my rules up now, aren't we? Really.
But I think Rondon would definitely improve our options at the moment.
Oh, there's a Stuart Pierce. Don't think he's still there. Josselou.
Yeah, he's done all right, since going back, but
he didn't work, did he really? I don't know how to say it. Is it Tavernier? Tavernier?
Yeah. Is he a left full back? So he might improve her.
I think and there's no new ones there. So I think the general consensus is Bar, Cisse, Genie. Yeah. I think Armstrong. Yeah. Did you have any?
Genie was the first one. Like
he was.
I remember watching him for the first time in a game, like, and I was like, I was watching. I was like, how the fuck have we signed him? He's absolutely mint. He was like, I couldn't get me. I was like, I'm one of these people who, like, whoever I'm sitting next to, I'm talking to you. I'm grabbing you. I'm grabbing you. I'm like, your father knows about this, and so do the grannies who used to sit behind us.
They're still there, you know.
Are they?
Yeah.
But like, I'm talking to you whether you like it or not. So it's just happening. I'm one of them dickheads. But like, I remember I was like, the guys are sitting, and I'm like, how have we sitting? And he's like, I don't know. From PSV, isn't he? And I was like, no, but how have we signed him though? Like, how have we signed him? Because he was ridiculous. And then he steadily realized that, like, we were an absolute joke. You know?
Who managed him?
McLaren. Tovan.
Oh yes, did I not say that? A few people said that.
Tovan. He's he
did all right. Yeah, World Cup and stuff.
Yeah, and even Mbemba. Mbemba, and I'm trying to think who else.
Oh, I think that was the song that was in the clock last night. That Mbemba song.
Oh, what was it?
I don't want to sing it, but thingy September, but it's Chancellor Mbemba. He's together.
Chancellor Mbemba. Oh.
He's our best defender.
Never gives the ball away.
Yeah.
Always
1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
Oh, what did you sing for that bit?
Always gives the ball away. Aye. Oh man. Aye. But yeah, God, we have had some all right players. Would definitely do a job in and around our squad. Like, definitely. I mean, I've seen those pictures of the videos of Cisse down the pits. Like,
did he play at the pits?
No, it was like, he was training at some facility.
Oh, it looked like the pit.
It even had the little hut, like the little. I was like, is he down in Dunstan? Like, I mean, I've heard about working for a move, but like, moving your life to Dunstan. Aye. So he's probably come to see I think he had a wife in, I think he had a wife in Senegal and a wife in Darasol, I think.
Did he?
Aye. He was.
Hasn't Maxi got that as well?
Let a player play, you know what I mean? Don't hit the player,
Crack
hit
on.
the game and all that crack. But yeah, I think he's angling for a game. He's angling for some sort of action, but I'm not sure what's going to happen. Who knows?
Who knows?
It would be nice. I mean, when he was pressed today, Steve Bruce said he wouldn't be after a. He talked about defence in midfield. He didn't even mention the strikers. So obviously we're going with Gale, Joe Linton, and Wilson. So
oh well, depth.
Yeah,
all about the depth.
All about the depth. We are all about the depth. So we'll come back to the Southampton game really briefly. Prediction time, Laura. Come on.
I think we'll score. I think I'm just, and I think I said this last time. I think I'm just going to keep going 1-1 until we eventually get a point or a win.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go 1-1.
Yeah.
I can't say we're winning.
Yeah. I'm going to go, as I always do, 2-1 Newcastle.
Scorers?
Don't push us. Jesus.
Sorry.
I'm going to go scorers. Shaw.
Random.
Because, like, I mean, I've already predicted the result. It's not going to happen. So I might as well just
go all out.
So I'm going to go Shaw and I'm going to go Fraser.
Watch them two, not even stars.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that Elliot
Anderson?
Elliot Anderson, whatever.
Did he not get injured?
Probably.
Okay. Yeah, I think he was injured.
Was it a soft tissue?
It could have been.
Aye. Although Toonami's going to go with, he's gone with 3-1 to the 2, and they are crap as well.
I enjoyed watching them against Man U. I thought they did really well.
Yeah.
I remember watching it, thinking we'll struggle against these.
Ooh, George Green. Who's got a hip injury? Somebody hip
Elliot.
injury. Oh, is that?
Elliot.
Oh, right. Aye.
And yeah, I thought he was injured.
Aye. So anyway, I'm going to go back to Southampton squad really quickly before we go because this is genius. So
I know what you're going to say.
I'm going to go with it.
Okay,
I don't care.
go on.
I'm going to say it. So Southampton have got obviously Stuart Armstrong, obviously Laura. You know you're a big fan of the midfielder. Scotland international. He's unavailable. But also Will Smallbone is unavailable. Or Willie Smallbone, as I like to call him. I think it would be a good like a blues singer, like a real bluegrass. Imagine with his guitar, like a cocked hat. Oh, Willie Smallbone, you know. So unfortunately for anybody who is looking forward to seeing some Smallbone tomorrow, unfortunately he's unavailable. But although they're both linked to parts of the body, so you've got Armstrong and Smallbone. So maybe if his arm wasn't so strong, he might not have had such a small bone. Who knows? So answers on a postcard for that one. So anyway, I think on that bombshell or whatever you want to call it. Oh, that was the Steve Bruceism. Oh, whatever you want to call it. Anyway.
Does he say bombshell, does he?
No, he says, well, he's got a hip injury, if that's what you want to call it. You know, like, when he does these, when he does these thingies, he's like, well, VR's improved the game, if that way you want to call it. Anyway, so Tom Lynch is on board with Lil Willie Smallbones. I'm liking that. You see, I think me and Tom have totally bonded over this.
I feel like you've had a moment.
Definitely. Right. So Laura's going 1-1. I'm going 2-1. A victory for Newcastle United.
Definite Armstrong scoring though. Times.
Yeah. No, I hope they do that thing where they cheer him and then as soon as he touches the ball, boom. My favourite one was Les Ferdinand because he actually pissed himself laughing when he did that.
Did he?
We did that when he came back for Tottenham. got the ball. Well, I think he came on as a sub, and then his first touch, and then he was like, you could see he was like, fucking, he was like, you bastards. Anyway, so I think 2-1. Laura's going ones each. Thank you to everybody for joining. Thanks for the comments as well. I tried to hopefully put up as many as possible. Thanks to all those people who contributed, especially those people who contributed to the Twitter as well.
Yes, thank you.
And on our last one, if you boo Armstrong, you are an idiot.
Totally agree, Aquig Joe.
Show him some, and he's got that cool haircut, you know, that like that, you know, that
like the Peaky Blinder thing.
What the kids have got these days.
Kids,
you know? None of this short fucking sides. Carry on. So yeah, so everybody enjoy the game. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Like, subscribe, have a look at check out the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter. Do all that sort of social stuff, which I've probably forgotten. But thanks again. Thanks very much, Laura. I've had a really good night, actually.
And we thought we couldn't talk for an hour, just the two of us.
Exactly. Wow. So after 1 hour and 40-ish minutes, we'll say good night. Hope everybody's well, and we'll see you again next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.